Welcome back to our podcast.
Episode number 3.
Episode number 3. Man,
We're just flying right along here.
I know. I'm proud of us that we made it through episode 1. So I'm Molly Kubo, coach here at CrossFit Final Call with Matt Van Schoik, owner of CrossFit Final Call.
What up?
And we've been talking a lot about CrossFit. We've been talking about movement. Last week, we talked about virtuosity in movement and how that can bleed over into other areas of our life. And now today, we're going to continue that idea of virtuosity and mindset and talk about what we tell ourselves in the gym. So going more to the mindset side of things. So before we go any further, let's talk about what do I mean when I say like the stories we tell ourselves in the gym?
Yeah. So what's our definition of mindset, right? It's
Yes.
am I jumping ahead too?
Nope, that's perfect.
You have notes. I don't.
Man, you're just calling me out. Like Molly's got notes.
She's
I do have
prepared.
notes.
No, I'm just impressed at how prepared you are for this and a little disappointed at how unprepared I am for this.
No, this is good.
So when we talk about mindset is defined as the story you tell yourself about yourself. So when you're in the gym and you're telling yourself stories, you know, this is something that we talk a lot about is like what in the middle of a workout, what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself, I can't, like this is too heavy, this workout sucks.
I'm going to have to tap out.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to die. I don't want to do this anymore.
I had that a couple times last week.
Or are you talking yourself up? Right? Are you pep talking yourself? Are you going, hey man, I can do this one more time. I got one more rep in me. I can push my pace just a little bit here. I can do this. I can do that. Right? And the big difference is like I can versus I can't, and where those words lead you.
It's funny. We talk about that a lot at the whiteboard brief, especially for some of these spicier workouts.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll say towards the end of a workout, like, how are you talking to yourself
Yep.
right now? And there's always 2 different reactions in the gym. There's the people that I make eye contact with that like
Yep.
nod, like, yep. And then they
Good.
lock in. And then there's the people that look at me like, okay. And they roll their eyes.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, it's fine.
Yeah.
But this isn't like crazy woo-woo stuff. It's legit.
It's not. Yeah.
There's science behind it, and we can get into that here in a minute. But overall, and you kind of already answered this, what do you think are the most common things that we hear, whether they're said out loud or that you can look at somebody and you can tell they're thinking it when they're in the gym?
Well, I think for the most part, it's just the approach, right? And so I coach. We coach the 5 a.m. a lot, right? And
A lot of mindset stuff happens in the 5 a.m.
A lot of mindset in the 5 a.m. And there's just a whole lot of like, man, it's too early for this, or I'm not ready for this, or whatever it is.
Or I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, like just showing up is, you know. I'll go back and forth with this, but like sometimes just showing up is not enough. It depends on where you are in the journey, right? I think.
And your attitude about it. Like,
Yeah.
did you show up?
Yep.
Showed you showed
Yep.
up versus, well, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Like, okay.
Like someone is holding them at gunpoint
Right.
to walk in the door.
Right.
Yeah. Those are the biggest things that I see. Really, it's just the biggest issue that I see in the gym is how we approach these things. Like when you look at the look at the workout on the whiteboard, those first few thoughts are going to dictate pretty much how the rest of class goes. So you can look at that and go, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. Right? Or you can look at it and be like, all right, this is going to be a tough workout, but I can get through this. Right? It's always the but that kind of leads you in whichever direction you're going to go.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think a lot of us, and we kind of talked about this too, like in the middle of workouts, I see a lot of people where I can tell they're really struggling and they're saying, you know, I don't think I can do this. Or how do you interrupt that in the middle of a workout when you haven't had this conversation with them beforehand of like, think about how you're talking to yourself.
Yeah. So it's weird. Like, so, okay, you know the workout Murph.
Oh yeah.
Right. So do you know like the history behind that workout? So Lieutenant Michael Murphy, right, was in a SEAL platoon. They went on a mission in Afghanistan. All but one guy in his squad platoon ended up getting killed. But Mike Murphy was the guy that made the phone call that got Marcus Luttrell rescued. But what was it? 3 of the 4 guys end up getting killed over there. And Marcus Luttrell is the last guy. He's the lone survivor. So if you haven't seen the movie Lone Survivor, go watch it. Marcus is actually in that movie in the very beginning. If you haven't read the book, which is even better, go read the book. But he talks about how he survived in Afghanistan after all of his buddies have been killed. And dude's been like shot in the back. Like, I think he had like 5 or 6 gunshot wounds. He had like a broken back, a broken leg. Like, his clothes are just like completely tattered and like falling off of him. And there's a point in the book, and they didn't talk about this in the movie, but there's a point in the book where he talks about he would draw a line in the sand. And at this point, he's so wounded that all he can do is crawl. Like, he's legit army crawling, right? And he would draw a line in the sand or in the dirt. And he would just try to get past that line. And then he would draw another line in the dirt. And then he would try to get past that line. So for me personally, when I'm in the middle of a tough workout, like, I try to find my line that I can draw in the sand. And I'll draw that line and I'll try to get past that. So if I'm out on a run, for instance, right? If we're going for a 1 mile run, which is like so hard for me, I draw my line in the sand. I'm like, I'm going to make it to that telephone post, or I'm going to make it to that mailbox, or I'm going to make it to that stop sign. And then once I get there, I can reevaluate. And it's similar inside of the gym, right? In a thruster rowing workout, to like we have it in today's workout, for instance. I'm trying to get through 7 thrusters before I'm thinking about the row. And I think that's where a lot of people get trapped, is they're looking at
the whole thing.
Yeah, they're looking at the whole thing, all the way to the end of the workout, thinking, oh my goodness, I have so far to go. I have so much work to do, which can be overwhelming when you think about it that way. If you think about your weight loss journey in the same way, right?
Yeah.
How much weight did you end up losing across the...
I think from my heaviest to now, it ended up being around 85 pounds.
Bro.
Thanks.
That's crazy. So if you would have been thinking, I have to lose 80,
oh yeah, there's no way it would have
pounds,
happened.
right? But if you can think, I'm going to lose 1 pound at a time,
right?
And I'm just going to chip away at this thing, it makes it much more manageable. And the workouts are the same way. So I think it's the approach, right? And how you think about the thing as a whole, compared to, hey, I've just got this little bit of work to do, and then that little bit of work to do, and then that little bit of work to do, and before you know it, it's over with. Yeah,
I know the 5 a.m. and probably any class I coach hates me for this, because when I'm in a workout, they'll yell the same thing back at me, like out of spite. But I always say 1 rep at a time. Like, it's just 1 rep at a time. 1 foot in front of the other, and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
So
instead of, like, in today's workout where we have 7 thrusters followed by a 250 meter row or 200 meter row, instead of thinking I have to get through 7 thrusters, I think I have to get through 1 thruster 7 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just this rep right now is the only thing that I'm thinking about, and then the next rep, and then the next rep. And to break it down even farther, I might be thinking about a point of performance, for a specific number of reps. So, if we're doing something like a Murph where there's 300 air squats in this workout, I'm like, okay, I'm breaking this down into 5 push-ups, 10 pull-ups, 15 air squats. Well, during my pull-ups, like, my focus is going to be keeping my belly nice and tight. And then before I know it, I'm already through 5 reps, right? In my push-up, I'm thinking about, hey, can I keep my elbows in close to my side? And before I know it, I'm done with 10. In my air squat, can I make sure that my knees are tracking out with my toes? And then I'll find something else to think about in the next round.
That was the only way I got through those 20 back squats that we did a couple months ago. Was thinking, like, of just one thing every 5 squats. And then like you said, before you know it, it's done. Yeah. And then it's over.
But it's your focal point, right? It's the thing that you focus on that matters the most.
Yes. And when you focus on the pain, it only gets worse.
Right.
Which is a perfect segue into the next thing. So that's what Tony Robbins says. He says that where your focus goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, whatever you focus on grows. So Craig Groeschel has a different way of saying it. I love Craig Groeschel. He's a pastor of Life Church. The Bible app is his baby. And he says, your life moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts. So what you focus on, you are going to get more of. And so some of you might be thinking that, like, oh, that's a little woo-woo-y, and I get it, because I used to feel the same way. So let's talk a little bit about the reticular activating system, the power that is, and then we'll get into how that can affect our language and talk about some different language themes that we see in the gym.
Sure. I think the easiest way to, I don't know why, I feel like you're like setting me up and then like I have to talk. You can totally jump in on this. I think the easiest way to think of the reticular activating system, Molly knows as much about this stuff as I do. Okay, probably more. So I'll lead us in here. So the easiest way to think about the reticular activating system for me is like the red car theory.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, if I go and I'm thinking about buying a new car or a new truck. I just bought a new truck not too long ago, right? So, and it's a mid-sized truck. So I never saw very many mid-sized trucks until I bought a mid-sized truck.
And now what's the one car you see?
I see them all over the place now, right? So like the same thing, like if you're thinking about buying a red car, then you're going to see red cars everywhere. Your brain starts to filter out the information that doesn't matter, and it kind of goes in the direction that you're pointing it.
Yep. Whatever you give emotion to, your reticular activating system says, okay, that's important, so I'm going to seek that thing out. Yep. But the problem with it is it edits out everything else, good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah, there was a really good example of the reticular activating system at work happening in the gym this morning. So we had a member, and he's going to know who he is when he hears this, and it's fine. I don't care, because we got work to do, man. We all have work to do, and I want that to, like, we all have mindset work to do. Every single one of us. Like, it doesn't matter how far along this journey you are, you have work to do still.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like fitness. Like, your fitness level is never
It's never done.
Yeah, it's never done. You continue to build on it,
and
right?
if you think, just side note, like if you think for a second that your mindset is top of the pyramid, like you've made it, then in reality, man, that is a big old red flag, and it is not where you think it is.
It's the beginning of the fall.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So, this member walks in, and you can kind of see it on his face a little bit, like maybe he's had a rough day or a rough night or something like that. And one of the first things that I hear is, man, this is too heavy. It's too early for this. And that really set the tone for the rest of the day and the rest of the workout. And, after the workout, I walked up to him and I'm like, hey, man, like, what's going on? Like, did you have a hard night last night? Like, what's happening? It's very clear to me. I didn't say this to him, but like, it's very clear to me that something is going on in your life that is impacting your attitude inside of the gym.
Because it's not just the gym.
No.
When people show up like that, it's not just because the bar feels heavy.
There's other stuff going on for sure. And he kind of laid it all out for me. Like, I got to do this and I got to do that. And this is happening and this. And, he's on his way out the door. So I don't have time to sit and coach him and talk to him about reticular activating system. And he's got to go to work. Right. And so, but that's what was happening. So immediately, first thing in the morning, he had dialed in on all of the things that he has to do in the day. Like, he's just like, we're looking at these workouts going, oh my gosh, I have to do all of these reps. He wakes up in the morning and he's looking at his whole entire day going, man, I got to do this and I got to do that. And this is going to happen. And I got to work and I got this to do at home. And it's overwhelming. And it immediately puts you in that place where you're fighting against the day. Right. And that then is going to start to impact everything else throughout the day. But then you begin to look for those things.
Yes.
Right. You start to edit out, like you were saying,
all the good stuff.
Yeah. You edit out all the good stuff and you get really, really focused on all of the hard things, all of the bad stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's super common. It's super common.
Oh, I see this daily with my clients. They'll talk about, man, all I did today was put out fires. All I did was get yelled at by people at work. Like, everyone's in a bad mood. No, you had maybe 1 to 2 of those interactions. You put a lot of emotion towards it. You focused on it. And now your brain did its job and it sought out every little thing that could have gone wrong. And it ignored all the really great things that happened today. So that's why you have those days where you feel like, man, I'm just being crushed. Not really. Like, facts over feelings. You had maybe one thing that didn't go your way. Yeah.
Well, it's we had a choice, this member, this morning, and it was, you can go on throughout your day looking at and focusing on all of the things that are going to go wrong.
And it's going to suck.
Or, and that's exactly what I told him. or you can go throughout your day and you can start to try to look for the good stuff. And the response I got was, it's easier to stay focused on the hard things.
Oh, 100%.
And I get that. I do. I understand that. But you come in here every day and you put yourself in a position where you're going to have to fight and you're going to have to struggle. I guarantee you, when you've got 225 pounds on your back and you're doing squats, you're fighting and you're struggling. That's hard stuff. So we just haven't made that connection yet, where it's like, hey, you're doing hard things every single day when you walk in the door. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning and coming into the gym to throw 225 pounds on your back to squat.
That's hard.
That's hard, man.
That's hard.
That's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
And that is not the win that we're focused on.
Yeah.
We're focused on how hard it is to get up at
yeah.
4. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like the other side of it, kind of like you were saying, I'm here.
Right.
Versus I'm here.
I'm here. Yeah.
You know, I'm ready to rock and roll. So
yep.
It's.
And that is a slippery slope. And this could be a whole other podcast topic. That is a slippery slope into the victim mentality.
Yeah.
And that will just absolutely take you by the throat and choke you and hold you down and destroy your life if you're not careful.
Can you do it?
Can I do it?
Yeah. Can you do it?
The victim mentality is an acquired personality trait where a person regards himself or herself as the victim of the negative actions of others, even in the absence of clear evidence. The victim mentality depends on a habitual thought process and attributions.
Man, do you have like photographic memory?
I have not actually recited that in a really long time. So
I couldn't have done that. Not on the spot.
I had to think about it for a second.
I would have had to run and pull my Enlifted level 1 workbook out.
Yeah. So credit where credit is due. This is all based on Mark England's Enlifted definitions of things. But yeah.
But what we're talking about is, when we're talking about the victim mentality, we're talking about you looking into your world and going, oh, well, I'm stuck with this circumstance. Like, I have to get up early because I have to go to work, and my day sucks because I had to do all of this at work, you know, or this person said this thing to me, so now I'm going to have a bad day. It's you looking at all of the externals, all of those, the people and the places, the circumstance, the situation that you're in, and blaming those things for what you're thinking and feeling on the inside.
Yep. And and we all have a touch of it. Like,
sure.
Every single person has a little bit of the victim mentality in it. Some of us just a little more than others.
It's hard to take ownership over that stuff.
It's really hard because you can think that you're, like I said, like your mindset is really good. And I had this not long ago where I thought I was in a really strong place with work and everything. And then after a conversation I had, realized afterwards, like, oof. I went back and I listened to the words, or thought about the words that I used. And it was a lot of, well, he makes me feel X, Y, and Z. And they made me, you know, A, B, C. And I realized, like, oof, that's me in a victim mentality.
Yeah.
And once I switched that, like, things became a lot clearer.
Yeah. I think the Jocko Willink's book, Extreme Ownership, was kind of the first place that I recognized that I had some victim mentality going on, where, you know, I would, you know, if class didn't run the way that I thought it should, then I was blaming the coach, you know, or something like that, where maybe it wasn't the coach's fault that the class went over, or that they taught this movement in the wrong way or whatever, but really it was me not coaching the coach or training the coach on how to do that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think my first exposure to it was Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Blank.
Yeah.
And a big thing he says in there is, it may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And that's like, so if you're going to read Extreme Ownership, which I would recommend
really good one.
anyone do,
Yeah.
you then have to read The Dichotomy of Leadership, because it kind of talks about that balance of, like, so if you're an employer, for instance, and you have an employee who is continuously failing, right? Extreme ownership would say, hey, if they're failing, it's my fault because I'm not training them up. I'm not showing them the things that they need. But on the flip side of that, there's like the dichotomy of ownership here, where it's like, okay, I have to take ownership of that person not being the right person for this job potentially, and then do something about that. But where it really kind of started to soak in internally was during 2020, during the COVID years, I really got into stoicism. And one of my big takeaways from stoicism was like, draw a circle around yourself, and you're responsible for everything inside of that circle, right? Like, no one else can dictate to me my feelings. No one else can dictate to me my thoughts. Like, I am responsible for all of those things. It's the reaction, right? That I have to make sure that I'm in control of. So I will have certain feelings about certain things, but it's how I use those feelings. So I always think that feelings are an invitation for thought.
Yes.
If I'm angry about something, well, why am I angry? Instead of immediately expressing that anger to someone, I'm going, whoa, wait a minute. What's happening here in this relationship that's making me angry, and where do I own that thing? I think, in that, you can do that with anything in your life.
Yeah. And to be clear, like, it's not that the feelings are quote unquote bad. You're allowed to have those feelings. It's just, like you said, how do you respond to them?
Well, you can't do anything about it.
What are your next steps? Right.
You're going to have feelings, right? Like, guys, you're going to be sad. You're going to be angry. You're going to want to cry sometimes, right? It's just what you do with those feelings that matters the most.
Right.
I see it like even on like coaching youth athletes is a big one. Coaches want to win.
Yeah.
Right? Coaches want to win. But when you have a 7-year-old out on a football field learning how to play the game, like, he doesn't know where to put his feet. You know what I mean? Like, when they put their helmet on, they put it on backwards. Like, what are we trying to teach?
Right.
So when they drop a pass or drop a ball or they jump off sides, like, I get it. You want to be mad and you want to put some discipline in there, but yelling at that kid is the wrong response
productive
to that emotion that you're feeling.
Right.
So it's that like inward, okay, this is what's going on with me. I'm having that moment of like that woo moment of like getting in touch with myself.
Yeah.
Right. And then going, okay, how am I going to use this, or what am I going to do with this thing that I'm feeling?
So obviously, we've talked like the thoughts that you have, the words that you're saying to yourself, huge impact on your success, what you're going to do. A lot of times it dictates, or at the very least, greatly influences the outcome. So let's get into the specifics of the language. So let's start off. There's 3 pillars to, I call it conflict language. And it's soft talk, negations, and projections. Yep. So let's start off with some soft talk, because I hear this a lot in the gym, but really where I hear it the most is when we're talking about going to the gym. So
I should probably go to the gym.
I should probably go. I think I might try to make it in tomorrow.
I might be able to make it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see.
Yeah. So when we're using soft talk language, right? I've got a cheat right here. So we're looking at probably, feels like, guess, maybe, could, might, possibly, sort of, kind of, hopefully, try, one day, should, almost, like, those are all backdoor words. That's the way that I like to look at them. They're backdoor words, right? Like, hey, you gonna be in class tomorrow?
Maybe.
Yeah, right. So you're giving yourself that out, right? Like, well, if I don't make it, then I didn't
fully commit.
I didn't commit to that thing, right? I gave myself that back door to get out of this thing. That's the way that I think about soft talk
100%.
language.
And your brain notices that back door. Yep. And when you give a mouse a cookie, when you give your brain an out, it's going to take it every time. So that's why, like, even shifting little words to "I will be in tomorrow morning at 8:30" makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, you're committing to yourself, right? And no one wants to break promises, especially to themselves. We do it all the time.
We do it all the time.
We do it all the time, right? But I mean, the more that you can commit to making the commitment to yourself. Wow, that's words over words over words there. The more that you can commit to making the commitment to yourself, the more likely you are to actually do the thing that you're committing to.
Yeah. So I think about this a lot. The definition of commitment, at least in my world, is doing what you said you were going to do, even when the mood you set it in has passed. So doing what you said you were going to do when you don't feel like it.
Man, that's like almost like a integrity type thing.
A little bit. A little bit.
I mean, that's important to do the things that you say you're going to do.
I had a coach that got a tattoo on his arm that said, because you said you would.
Oh, man.
And I have that written down on my desk at work, and I think about that
Yeah.
and see it all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes the reason for doing things, sometimes it's simply because you said you would.
Yeah.
And that should be enough.
So you have a little one at home. I have a little one. I have little ones. They're not so little anymore, but
They're like medium.
yeah, they're medium ones. Getting ready to be large ones. When I tell Gannon that, hey buddy, I'll be at your game, I'm going to be at his game, right? And I think that you would do the same, right? Like,
Absolutely.
so why is it so easy to commit to our kids or our spouse or other people, but we struggle to do that for ourselves?
I don't know. If we could figure that one out, I think we'd solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think we forget sometimes how important it is to take care of ourselves because it's so close.
Yes. And I think sometimes we have to take out the think. I know we have to reframe how we think about taking care of ourselves. Because me going to the gym, yeah, it's nice to have that me time, sure. But me going to the gym is going to make me a better parent, a better wife. It's going to allow me to show up for those games and for those things where I wouldn't have had the energy or the discipline beforehand. So showing up for yourself a lot of times is showing up for others.
Yeah, I think this is where it is important to think a little bit longer term, right? So we were talking about the Murph workout where maybe it's not such a good idea. Maybe it's not such a good idea to think about, man, I've got 2 miles of running. I've got 300 push-ups, 200 or whatever it is. I don't even remember. 300 air squats.
Miss the forest for the trees. Yeah.
But when it comes to taking care of yourself and your health, looking at that long term can be beneficial for you. When I think about the commitment that I'm making to myself in the gym, it's because I want to be an awesome grandpa, right? Like I want to be the kind of granddad, like when the kids come over, I'm going to take them kids outside. We're going to roll around in the dirt. I'm going to wear them down and I'm going to send them home to mom and dad.
Fill them with sugar and then send them home.
You know what I mean? Like that, like I want my kids to want, my grandkids to want to come to my house. And I want that with my kids too. Like I want my kids to interact, or I want to interact with my kids. I don't want to sit on the sideline of their life. I want to be involved in that. I don't want to be just the dad that walks in at the end of the day too tired to do anything. And that energy, that some of that fulfillment comes from coming in and exercising and taking care of my nutrition so that I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling bogged down from the food that I'm putting in my body. I'm not feeling bogged down from the lack of movement that I have throughout the day. I'm telling you, the more you move, the more you want to move.
Yes.
It's a thing. It's a real thing. The more you sit, the more you're going to want to sit.
So I was so sore this last week, and it had nothing to do with workouts. It was because I had a 7-hour drive one way. And I was telling somebody when I came in Saturday, I was struggling to move, and it was just from sitting.
I get that way on airplanes. Man, when I sit on an airplane and I cannot move, you're just stuck in that one position.
And Molly from 3 years ago, total opposite.
Yeah.
So just side note for all of you that are coming in and you're sore and you're like, oh, I can't go into the gym for the next 5 days because you're sore. Like that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, that is the worst thing you can do. But, long term, that's why I'm coming in to do this stuff. And so there's value, I guess, in seeing, being able to know when to look at the short term, the thing that's right in front of your face, and be able to kind of zoom out and take that
long-term investment.
Take that 30,000 foot view of what's going on.
For sure.
And I've totally lost track of what we're talking about.
That's soft talk.
Oh, soft talk. Okay.
But so overall, so not giving yourself an out though, and having the tools and knowing, how to view that so you don't give yourself an out.
Yeah.
So just little simple shifts. This one's one of the easiest to solve or simplest to solve, and that's replace your soft talk with solid talk.
I would say there's even a step before that. So it's just recognizing.
Oh yeah, just being aware of it. Knowing is half the battle.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
becoming aware of the language that you use. My two are probably and maybe. Like those are the two that I use the most. I probably see. I just said it.
For me, it's think. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if we go back and look at this.
Oh, I know. I'm going to go back and listen to it and be like,
I guarantee you, I've used those words so many times.
Yeah.
So just learning to recognize where you're using soft talk is that, to me, that's step number one.
In your texts, in your emails,
Yeah.
in your professional life, in your personal life, start looking for those things, because the other thing is if you're struggling to command respect, I know this is a struggle for me. If you're struggling to command respect from your peers or from people around you, you might probably be using some soft talk. You are using soft talk. I know for me, I use soft talk to make myself smaller because I know I have an opinion, and in my head, I know it's a pretty solid one, but I'm afraid of showing that. So I will minimize it and say like, well, I think this might be something we should consider versus, no, here's what we're doing. And that, all it does is water you down in every area of your life.
I just yell louder and use a deeper voice.
Or you can just get louder and repeat yourself, like knees out, and then just yell knees out even harder.
Just yell it. Just like jump up and down maybe when you're yelling it. Maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean that's great. Like you're talking about that's something that I haven't experienced. And it's not because like I'm so big and tough and I don't want to give that projection, but I think that I think that maybe there's probably a difference between
See, y'all are hearing it now.
Being a female coach in the gym versus a male coach in the gym.
100%.
And that's the only place that I feel like you and I can talk about this.
Right.
Because that's the thing that we have in common.
Right.
I don't know what it's like for you in your professional,
my quote unquote 9 to 5.
Yeah, your normal day job. But I can imagine that it is tough specifically to go from member to coach in the gym and figure out how to command the respect of the people that you're used to just sweating beside.
Right.
And now you're leading them through that thing. Have you struggled with that?
I don't actually struggle with it as much here.
Okay.
Because, and truthfully, I know it's because we have really great members.
Yeah, we do.
Because I know that is a big struggle for a lot of other coaches in other places. And I truly, truly attribute it to our members and how welcoming and understanding and how willing they are to put in the work regardless of who's in front of them.
Yeah.
So I really haven't experienced it so much here. I mean, there have been a couple times, but I have no problem calling it out in front of people and being like, hey, I'm learning this alongside you. I remember like the first time I coached rope climbs, I was like, all right, guys, I need you to be patient with me. And we ended up all laughing about it and it was great. Now, outside of this, in settings where I'm not as comfortable, it's a little different. And that's where I find myself like trying to shrink a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah. We're going to get into like a mindset session right now.
I just wanted to hear more about that. Where, like, in what settings do you find yourself?
I think for me, it's mainly in my, like I said, quote unquote, day job, 9 to 5, because it is such a, and I don't want to sound like that person, but it is such a male dominated industry of business owners. And when I come in with thoughts, so I basically come in as a consult. And when I come in with these ideas that I know will work because I've implemented them myself or I've helped other teams implement them in their businesses, a lot of times I'm met with, well, you don't understand. Like, you've never been in my shoes. You've never owned the business. You're just this little girl from a cornfield. Like, what do you know about it? And so I get a lot of that. And it's a mix of discouraging, but it's also really kind of fun in a way to be like, okay, because when the bar is, or when the expectations are low, it's really easy to exceed them.
Yeah, to deliver on
on it, right? And
I think just knowing you, I feel like that would be like fuel for the fire.
It didn't used to, and now it is.
Like, oh, you don't think I can do this?
And now I've made enough of a name in this specific space, which is a very niche space, but I've made enough of a name for myself now that I don't experience it nearly as much as I used to. Now I've got people that are like, oh, that's Molly Kubo. I want her on my team. Yeah. and it's gotten a little different.
Okay. How long did you have to fake it before you made it? Or did you? Do you feel like you had to do any of that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say for the first several years, I don't know that there was a specific time where I was like, oh my gosh, I've made it. And I still don't think I look around and I'm like, oh man, I'm at that point.
But you have the confidence level.
But yes, yeah. And something I had a coach tell me once too was, I don't believe in this fake it till you make it BS, because you already have made it. Like, you're in the room for a reason. God put you here for a reason.
Yeah.
You have made it, and you don't need to fake it for anybody, because you're not faking it. And that was a big mindset shift that I had.
You just got to kind of find the power to stand in the space.
And know that your worth doesn't come from your job or from what other people think about you.
So
this could be like a whole other.
Yeah. I think what I'm getting at, or trying to get at here, is there was a period of time where in your job and where you felt like, I'm not sure that I'm the right person for this. But using prior experiences, evidence, looking back at, hey, I've done it before. I can do it again. You slowly started to build more and more confidence in your ability to do those things.
Yeah. So that brings us to another thing in the gym, and that's that identity shift of, you talked about putting lines in the sand of that's how you get through a workout. We were talking about this off the air. I think it was last week. And I said, one of the ways that I get through these really gnarly, tough workouts is I look for evidence of, okay, I know I've done this before. I know I can do this because I've done it before. So negations. Let's talk negations, because that leads into that I can't do this. This is really tough. I'm never going to lift that weight. I'm never going to lift as much as so-and-so. What's the point? Or I'm never going to get that bar muscle up, handstand backflip off the bar. Yeah. So I'm not even going to come in.
Yeah, negations, when you say that, like, you're just talking about the negative language. Can't,
shouldn't, won't. Never. Yeah, your apostrophe, or your in apostrophe T words, and then never.
Yeah. To me, it's very similar to the soft talk words. The first step is recognizing that you're doing that to yourself, that you're posturing yourself in that way where it's like, man, I'm never going to be good at this. I'm never that, and that's probably one of the most common ones that I hear in the gym is, man, I'm never going to be good at this. I'm never going to get this. This is so hard.
Oh, I still fall into that a lot. And I think about that a lot. Yeah. Like, I'll see a movement that we're doing. I'm like, man, I'm never going to have that.
Yeah. And for me, it's about perspective. And sometimes I feel like I talk about myself too much. You ever feel like that? But the only place that I know that I can speak from is experience, right? And I have experience from other people in the gym, but when I'm in the middle of a hard workout, or when I see a hard workout and I'm like, ooh, boy, that one's going to be rough, I immediately have to go into, but is it the hardest thing that I've ever done? Like, have I done something harder than this before? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a workout.
Oh, yeah.
And most of the time it's not.
It's not.
There are other parts of my life where I've experienced some pretty extreme hardship. And I would argue that you have too. And whoever is watching this right now, like, you have experienced some pretty extreme hardship as well. My hard and your hard and your hard don't have to be the same thing.
Right.
Like, what's hard is hard, period. But if you can use those kind of things to look at what you're doing today, or what you're trying to work through today, whether it's a workout, or if you're remodeling your house, or if you've got something going on at your job that you're struggling through, if you can give yourself a little bit of perspective and just think, is this the hardest thing? Yeah, it's hard right now, but is this the hardest thing that I've ever done? Is this the hardest thing that's ever been done?
Yeah.
Probably not.
No, it's not.
Probably not. Right? Like, someone else has been through that. You've been through something harder, and you're tough enough. You can
and
make it.
You came out
through
the other
this.
side.
Yeah, and you're fine. Look, you're breathing. You're living. You can be happy if you want to be happy. There's you got a whole lot going on for you.
There's a choice there for sure. And we've also got to reframe how we think about it. So the problem with negations is they put the focus, and again, the focus is where your energy is going to go. It puts the focus on the thing that we don't want, right? So I can't do this. Well, I'm focusing on what I can't do. I'm never going to get that bar muscle up. Well, now I'm focusing on what I'm never going to be able to do versus we've got to shift that into, so what are we doing and make it a positive. And I don't mean toxic positivity of like, no, you're doing great. I mean like shift it in terms of, instead of I'm never going to get the bar muscle up, I'm working on my turnover. I can't run a mile without stopping. I'm working on my engine. I'm developing it. We've got to focus on where we're going, not where we've been. And so I call it the rear view window windshield analogy. Like we've all taken driver's ed, and I'm sure like Lainey, when she took driver's ed, the first thing they told her was look where you want to go.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you start looking to the left, your car is going to drift to the left. And it's the exact same thing here. When we focus on what we don't want to have happen, that's what's going to happen. So it's the same reason that when somebody says, don't fail, don't mess this up. Guess what you're focusing on?
Oh, yeah.
Messing it up, and you're going to mess it up.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, here's what I want to have happen.
Yeah.
So just that shift makes a huge difference. And that's in every area, too, in your life.
Yeah. Big butts work here, too. You know, I don't have a muscle up, but it's something that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Right? Or just shining a little bit of positivity or a little bit of positive light onto that thing.
Word yet is huge.
Yeah, yep.
Huge. So if you've taken a class with me, you'll notice, or maybe you haven't noticed, but you'll start noticing anytime we're going through bus stops or progressions for things, and I'll say, hey, if you don't have a pull-up yet. I never say if you don't have a pull-up. It's always if you don't have this yet, because that word yet that holds a lot of power too.
I always say if this is something that you're still working on.
Yeah.
That's the one that always comes to me. If this is something that you're still working on, stay here. It's cool, man.
Same idea.
You're all good, right? If you're ready to move on to the next thing, here we go. Yeah.
But holy cow, like talking about evidence, I think about things that 2 years ago I said, well, I'm never going to be able to do that, that I'm doing now. So
yeah. It's
perspective.
And you'll continue that as well.
Right. 5 years from now, when I'm getting those backflips off of the bar,
yeah, man.
I'm going to think, man, look where I came from.
I think you have to be realistic with the way that progress works in the gym, though.
Yeah.
Right. So when you first start, you're going to have lots of big gains. Like big things are going to happen for you. Or at least they do for most people.
Yes.
But the more experience you get, the more you start to understand movement, the stronger you get, the faster you get, the smaller the gains become. And you have to start to look for little wins over time. So, you know, those wins, to me, that's the thing that leads to motivation.
Yes.
I have to win first and then I get motivated to do the thing. Well, you got to like look for the smaller things sometimes. So sometimes if last week I had 135 pounds on the barbell and I back squatted that for 5 reps and it was a struggle. Well, maybe this week or 2 weeks from now, I've got 135 pounds on my back and I back squat that and it feels really good. Right? That's a win. That's a PR.
Yeah.
That is evidence that you can look back to go, hey, you know what? There was a time when I couldn't do this thing, or there was a time when this thing was really, really hard for me. And that's your perspective, being able to look back and go, hey, this is where I was, and now here's where I am.
Yes.
That's a huge part of this as well.
Yes, man, perfect example. As we're going through the strength cycle, we did our 1 rep max back squat a couple weeks ago, and I got to a weight and I could not get it up. I ended up bailing the lift, but I mean, I stayed in the fight for a while in the bottom of that. Whereas used to, it would have been, nope, it's not going up, and then dumping it. Yeah. And you even remarked, you're like, you fought for that one. Didn't happen, but I fought for it. And that, like,
it's a big deal.
And at first it was like, oh, that was a fail. But no, like thinking back about it, that fight that took place, like that was a mental and a physical fight. And sometimes it's in those quote unquote failures where these wins lie.
Well, that's where you're going to build some grit.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to build some toughness, right? Like the more you can fight and struggle against that stuff, as long as we're not going to put ourselves in a place where we're going to get hurt, But the more that you can fight and struggle against those stuffs, man, the tougher you get. You know, and then the tougher you get, the more you're going to look at some of this stuff and be like, man, I'm tough.
I can take it.
I can do this. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So the last pillar of conflict language is projections. I don't know that we see these as much, but I know they're still there. So projections are where it's what most of us think of when we think of the victim mentality, blaming others. It's the blame game. So, he made me feel like I couldn't do it. She ran a horrible class, and that's why I didn't have a good workout.
Yeah. I didn't I think one that you might see in here is like, I didn't sleep very good last night.
Yeah.
So today's going to be a crappy day, or,
that's a good one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. My kid got in bed with me last night. So I'm not going to even try to put weight on the bar today.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's just making excuses, right? When I think most of us know when we're having that battle in our head. I mean, I do this, right? Like, I'll wake up early in the morning, on the weekend sometimes, because that's when my wife likes to work out, which is crazy to me. She'll come in at like 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's messed up.
But then she'll go and run. So I've got like a 30-minute buffer, right? So if I wake up at 6, like, she's going to be here at 6. I can wake up at 6 and then have like 20 minutes to like get myself together and then into the gym, and then like 10 minutes to warm up. And by the time I'm finally warmed up, then she's walking in and she's slapping weight on the bar and she's ready to rock and roll. But I have that battle in my head every Saturday when I try to get up. Like, that is my eyes open and I'm like, man, you were up late at a football game last night, so maybe today's not the day. Or, you woke up twice last night in the middle of the night, so maybe today's not the day. And I'm looking for that excuse. I'm looking for a reason why I shouldn't do the thing. And I think that's some of this too.
Yes, absolutely. I know I was talking to a member about this on Saturday. Practical for me is I have adjusted my work schedule, and I know not everybody has the ability to do this. I've adjusted my work schedule to make certain class times not an option for me anymore, so that I have to come in the morning or whenever you need to get it done. That's the only option, or I'm not going to be able to take class and work out that day. And that for sure is not an option. So sometimes you have to like corner yourself into it a little bit.
Yeah, just set those priorities, man.
Yeah.
The thing that you prioritize, you will prioritize the things that are important to you.
Yes.
So when you start to make your exercise, your workout, your class time, your nutrition, your water intake, your sleep, any of that stuff, when you start to make those things important, then you'll start to prioritize those. And you'll do a little bit less of this arguing back and forth. And then it's funny, like the shift that you made, because I'm sure that there was a time when you were like scheduling in just to get a workout in.
Yes.
Right. And now you've gone from, okay, I just got to figure out a way to get this workout in.
Versus now it's, when is it going to be the most ideal?
Like, I'm going to get a workout in. That's not the problem
That
anymore.
Is no longer the negotiable. Yeah. Yes.
Now it's, okay, when am I going to get this thing in? So, and all you're doing is eliminating excuses there. Right. Yep. And that's what, when we're talking about projections, that's what I think about is, what can I blame this feeling that I'm having on? Like, anything, just give me something to blame it on so that I can project this onto them and I don't have to own it. Right. And that's a lot of what we're trying to do inside of the gym, is take away those excuses. Okay, you're not sure what to do. Okay. Hey, no big deal. We got you. We got something for you. You're not sure how to do it. Not a problem at all. We got you. We got coaches that are going to be running the class. You're not sure when you're going to come in. No problem. We've got class times all day long. You're not sure how to eat. Cool. We can help you with that too. Even with this mindset stuff, like, hey, if you find yourself in a bad place and you know that you're there and you need to figure out how to get out of that, we got your back there too. So all of this, all of CrossFit Final Call, everything is designed around how can we eliminate excuses.
Yes.
I want to, like, one of the big ones is, well, I got my kids. bring them in.
Bring them in. Yeah.
I mean, we all have kids. All of us. Almost every person that comes into this gym has kids. They may not be little kids like yours anymore, but they've all got kids. They've all been through that. Like, we get it.
And every single coach on the floor has kids. Yes.
All of us have kids. Like, we all get it. We all understand. And we've all dealt with those excuses and those projections of why you can't and why you don't want to. And, we've come out the other side of that stuff. And, it's just about, at the end of the day, it's about taking ownership for where you're at and what's going on in your life.
May not be your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So once you can learn to take responsibility for that stuff, like that's like, hi, my name is Matt, and I have the victim mentality. Okay, boom. Step number 1 out of the way.
Now we can talk about how to work towards fixing it, right?
Yeah.
But until you acknowledge that it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. Yeah. Oh no, I lost my train of thought.
Maybe you should look at your notes.
Hate it when that happens.
It's
No,
right
it's
there?
not on my notes.
Uh-oh.
Oh shoot.
What's that one thing that you forgot to put on your notes?
I know. Well, it was a nice thought, whatever it was.
Hey, my mom used to tell me that if you can't remember what it was, it must not have been that important.
Must not have been. Well,
either that or there's a camera on and you're on the spot. I bet she's never been in that spot before.
Yep.
Thanks,
yeah,
Mom.
how many podcasts has she been on?
Yeah, thanks, Mom. Oh, was that like a victim mentality?
Oh, I do remember what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
So when you're projecting on other people, so that is what...
Blaming mom
or blaming dad. Yeah, because how many of us do that too? When you are blaming somebody else for something, whether it's in the gym, whether it's outside of the gym, changing those into those I statements is really impactful. So we've been talking about the little shifts in language we can use, right? So replace your soft talk with solid talk. Replace your negations with what's the positive, what's the thing you're working towards instead of what you haven't been able to accomplish. Well, he made me feel small. That was one that I had. He made me feel small. I made me feel small. And now it's on me. And now it's, okay, what do I need to do to change that? Because going back to what you were talking about in Stoicism, like everything inside that circle, that's all that you can control. That's all you can control. So what do I need to change in order to change that feeling?
Yeah. It's all my fault. All of it. When you get to that place where there's nothing, there's no one else to blame. All of it is your fault. It's all been your choice that led you to that place, right? Like, you get hit by a car, well, you're the one that decided to cross the road, right? Like when you can take it to that level, man, your world's going to change.
Yeah.
Everything is going to change. It's suddenly you feel kind of unstoppable.
Yeah.
When you realize that I am the one that is responsible for all outcomes for me, that's pretty life-changing. And, we talk about our faith a lot, right? And I think that identity has a lot to do with the way that we think about ourselves. And when your identity comes from Christ, then that changes a lot of the world too. But there's, even in that, I think it's my responsibility to come to that. He has laid that out there for me, but I'm the one that has to pick it up.
I have to go get it.
Yeah, I'm the one that has to go get it. So even though there spiritually may be some things that are outside of my control, I still have to come to those things, and that is my responsibility, right? Like, because he is always pursuing me. But I have to reciprocate that, and that's on me.
Yep.
So there's just a lot of power. There's a lot of joy in that ultimate acceptance of responsibility.
Yeah. I think of it a lot like a poker hand. You may not be in control of the cards you got dealt, but it is my responsibility to play them to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And no one else is responsible for that but me.
And sometimes you're going to lose.
And sometimes it's not going to go the way you want it to, and that's okay.
But how are you going to respond to that?
Right. Are you going to flip the table, or are you going to say, okay, and then double down?
Yeah. We talk about this. I talk about this with my sons with wrestling a lot. You heard Charlie talking about it yesterday. Wrestling is a hard sport.
Yeah.
Charlie told us that he went a whole year in wrestling before he finally won a match.
Yeah.
I think my sons have done the same thing. Like, you are going to get beat, and not just beat, but you're going to get your butt kicked. And you're not just going to get your butt kicked, but it's going to happen over and over and over and over again for a long time, because there are other kids out there that understand this sport a lot more than you do. And it's you once you can accept, hey, I'm going to lose. Now it's, what am I going to do with those losses? What am I going to do? Like, what lessons am I going to take away from that? Am I going to whine and cry and complain that everyone else is better than me, and this is just the fate that I have?
For me.
This is just where I'm at. Or am I going to take those losses and go, hey man, here's where I messed up, here, and here. I didn't practice as hard as I should have this week. I wasn't staying on top of my sleep. I wasn't staying on top of my nutrition. I didn't feel the greatest. Whatever it was, right? Are you going to take that and do better next time? And if you can continue to do a little bit better next time, and a little bit better next time, and a little bit better next time, eventually you start to win. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Yep. You either win or you learn. And what a blessing it is to have those opportunities to learn, because I know it may not feel like it in the moment, but the people that have always had things handed to them, I mean, yes, they've worked hard, but they've always succeeded at whatever it was. They've put forth the effort, and it's always paid off with a win. As you get older and in your adult life, and then later on, that's a really hard life to live, because then suddenly you haven't had that character development that you had to have through losing. And I know that was a struggle for me. Like, I was always really good in school. I didn't have to try that hard in school to get the 4.0 GPA. And so suddenly when there were things that I had to really put forth the effort for, like, that was a learning curve for me. And that first failure was spiraling because I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And we see that all the time too in the gym, like people that have natural athletic abilities and come from these really athletic backgrounds. They come in and they're naturally good at things. They pick up a barbell and they know how to snatch after like 20 minutes. And that also makes me really, really mad, because that's insane. But I digress.
Because you're still trying to figure it out.
That is something
because I'm still trying to
still working on that.
Yeah, me too.
But they come in and they just move beautifully. And so they don't have that same struggle. But then when suddenly something does happen, we see it, and we see this, and you probably know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We see it break them.
Yeah. Yeah, because they just haven't learned to fight through that adversity.
Yeah.
And you're talking specifically about your school and stuff like that. Did you play sports when you were in?
I didn't. I played in middle school, and that was it.
I mean, so I think, I think that sports are really important for kids, specifically for this reason. But academic excellence is also really important for kids, specifically for this reason, because you're going to get it on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There's a lot of character development that happens in both of those, because they both require a lot of discipline, a lot of practice, good attitude, good solid effort, right? You have to have those things on both sides of that. So I think being a student athlete is really, really important. And if your kid doesn't want to play football or basketball or whatever, come on.
Bring them into the gym.
Bring them in here.
Yeah.
We can challenge that.
We got kids programming.
Attitude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it wasn't sports for me. For me, it was music. So I did guitar, piano, all of that stuff. And yeah, there were definitely a lot of failures in there.
I mean, dude, you have to fail.
But, yeah.
At some point in your life, you are going to experience failure, period.
Failing forward.
It's going to happen. And I think that's one of the benefits of the gym or sports or whatever it is, as a young kid, is the earlier that you can learn to experience that adversity and that failure and then come back from it, the better off you're going to be in the future.
The more resilient.
Yeah. And I think that's why this stuff is so magical for, I'm going to say, someone like you who didn't have that sport background or whatever it was, where maybe you didn't experience that much failure. And then all of a sudden you come into the gym as an adult. It
was a lot of failure.
And there's a lot of failure, and you have to learn how to fight through that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And I'm a heck of a lot more mentally tough now than ever before.
And yes, we want you to be physically, we want you to get better physically. We want your health to improve. But maybe for some people, that is what they need first.
Yeah. The physical benefits, I do believe, for a lot of people, is a side effect, a very positive one, but it's a side effect of the bigger thing. And that's the change that happens between the years.
Yeah. Form follows function, man.
Yeah. So any final thoughts? Any other things that you think of in workouts that have helped you get through them?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a whole lot of drawing the line in the sand for me.
It's funny you said that about running. I do that with the shadows out on the road. Like, I'm going to get past that shadow.
Yeah. I mean, I try to make every workout as small as I possibly can. And just, I'm going to get through this thing before I even think about that next thing. And just chip away, no matter what it is that I'm facing. I'm just trying to chip away. But, you know, in general, I would say just on the theme of what we're talking about today, to me, it's all about recognition. And that's where it starts. That's where all of this starts. When you're talking about mindset stuff, we have to recognize our mindset or where we're at first before you can make any kind of a change. So, you know, maybe just a little self-check. Like, am I positive today or am I negative today? And you know the answer to that question. You know where you're at with it, right? Like, but are you going to be real enough with yourself to call yourself out in that place? You know, and that doesn't have to be this big public thing. Like, you don't have to do it on Facebook. Yeah. Right? Like, wake up in the morning, do a little self-check. Where am I at right now? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And just make note of that. And then make a decision. Is this how I want to be today?
Yep.
And that's totally up to you.
And last thing I'll say too, again, going back to the science side of things, is there's power in repetition and identifying these things, changing your language, and then doing it repeatedly. So our brains have this really cool function of neuroplasticity, and it can change and adapt based on the information that we give it. And so your brain, MRIs show that those neural pathways increase when we repeat certain things over and over. So saying, you know, as cheesy as it sounds, I can do this, that essentially you start repeating that enough and you're going to start to believe it. And that's why mantras are so powerful. That's why affirmations are so powerful. That's why memorizing scripture is so powerful, is because it embeds that in your brain, and then it gives you this bank that you can pull from in these dark, hard moments.
Yeah. I mean, I know what I'm about to say could potentially shoot us off into a whole nother hour of conversation.
Maybe we're teasing the next episode.
But write it down. Take those thoughts, whatever it is that you're thinking, you know, today is going to be a terrible day because of this. Write it on paper. Take an actual pen, take an actual piece of paper.
Yep, don't just type it.
And write that thought down and sit with it for a little bit. Read it out loud. Roll it around in your head.
Maybe breathe.
Yeah,
while
breathe
you're
a little
reading
bit. See how it feels. Yeah. Maybe we'll close with this one. So I'm pretty sure
take out the maybe. We will close with this.
Okay, we will close. Well, I was giving myself that back door. I'm pretty sure it was Teddy Roosevelt, because Teddy Roosevelt said everything.
When in doubt, it was Teddy.
Yeah. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yes.
So go be right about yourself.
Love it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, kind of, sort of.
Sort of. Maybe.
I think.
Possibly.
Probably.
Should be.
Good deal.